Welcome to Best Friends in Franchising. I'm Morgan Knoller.
And I'm Catherine Allen.
If you're interested in franchising a new opportunity or diversifying your portfolio, you've come to the right place. We talk money, mindset, and everything in between. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Best Friends in Franchising. I'm Morgan Knoller.
And I'm Catherine Allen.
Everyone wants to know what it's really like to own a franchise, not the brochure version, not the Discovery Day version, the real version, the messy, exciting, terrifying, rewarding version. And today we have someone who's living through it right now and willing to come on and talk to us.
We have a very special guest. Thank you, Morgan. Travis Berding. Travis and I go way back. We're good friends. And I also had the privilege of helping him on his franchise journey and consult him, watching him go from I'm curious about franchising to signing the dotted line. Now, 4 months in, owning Puddle Pools in Marin County in California. Such a fun journey to witness. And Travis, welcome to Best Friends in Franchising. Glad to have you on.
Thank you, Catherine. And thank you, Morgan. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on your podcast.
Happy to have you here. So let's go back. So Travis, you reached out to me. I got a call from you. I think it was the end of last year. I think it'd be really interesting for our audience to hear kind of what was going on in your life. And, you reached out. What made you start thinking about owning a franchise? Kind of talk to us about that and like where you were at.
Yeah, I mean, time flies when you're having fun. It's so far back, Catherine, can't remember.
I know. Right? Well, also throw some kids in the mix, and it's summertime. And I mean, I'm like, what day is it? I don't know. I don't
exactly. Well, yeah, like Catherine just mentioned, I have 2 active kids who are very involved, ton of activities, a lot going on, school, and then you start to think what's going on? How can I got work, and I just wanted to make sure that I'm there and being more flexible and seeing what other options are kind of out there. So, that was part of it. The other part of me was I watched and grew up watching my father who owned his own small business. And I always had that itch. I always watched him. And so Catherine, when we spoke about the business, and it just sparked an interest, and, just wanted to find out more what you did and what's out there. So, I have a lot thanks to you as getting me into this. So I appreciate it. But yeah, that's kind of where it all started, and just that curiosity for me. But also having that growing up was always something I wanted to dive into. So.
And I remember when you called, you had an idea in your head about a batting cage. Do you remember the batting cage idea?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, I was looking at small businesses. I was looking to try any way of gaining what my interests were and what I thought really. And, that's where it started, and that's where it perked up. And, when you start diving into the real franchising and, where you are a person and what you can be, successful at, really sky's the limit. It can be any industry, really, honestly. And that's kind of where I've kind of directed me to. So, yeah.
And I just want to hit on one more thing that I remember we talked about on that first call, because I think, Morgan, you probably talk about this a lot with your clients and me too. And you're like, Catherine, because, when Morgan and I start talking to clients, franchising is typically new to people. They just don't even, you don't even know. And people are looking at existing businesses. And that's what you said. Could I buy, there's this company, this woman, this batting cage, could I just go in, and why wouldn't I just start a business myself? Right. That was one of your questions. Okay, you're over here, you have franchising, you have to pay the franchise fee, you have to pay the royalty. Why can't I get that all the time. I bet you do too, right? Why can't I just go out and do this myself? And remember we did that little analysis, and we were kind of thinking through okay, the cost of
I remember that.
Set everything up, and what did that really look like? And I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I do want to just know, because it comes up a lot, and I think we should circle back on that at the end of this, Travis, and your thoughts now that you're a franchise owner, and the support and what you're seeing with the proven business model, and just how quickly that can scale.
So, I mean, similar kind of thing, Travis. I watched my parents build a company from scratch, and I just remember how much work it was, and I didn't see them very much when it was going on. So I wanted to do something smaller, but small business, and then ended up looking at franchising. I'm so glad I did, because I think that it's definitely the right choice for me. So when Catherine first introduced you to this process, did you have expectations on what this ownership was going to look like? And, what were your first thoughts when you thought franchising?
Well, it's funny, when people think about franchises there's so many out there. And like when the first thing you think of is like food chains, fast food chains, you're like, okay, I own a
Yeah.
McDonald's or whatever, a Taco Bell and whatnot. But that's just a small fraction of the universe, of the franchise universe. So as you guys both know, I mean, there's so much out there. And so just exploring different, I think Catherine, you gave me three different options or three different companies and just exploring, and you're just kind of like, wow, there's a lot out there. That's where it kind of started. And it's just a lot out there, but also just exploring what is in those other ones that you wouldn't think of could be the best fit for you. So it's a cool thing.
Yeah, and
And
absolutely worth like going to multiple too, because when you
Mhm.
bet one, it's like maybe that's the right fit, but you won't know until you go to multiple franchises. So I like that
Mhm.
you hit on the fact that you were looking at 3 at that time. And I've said this before, but I looked at 7 and it was exhausting, but I had to look at all 7 because I really wanted to understand what was the right fit for me. And I think if you don't look at many or multiple, at least a couple, then you really don't know what franchise is the right fit for you. And it turns out Puddle Pools was good. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at actually technically, Catherine, you gave me three. It was actually that fourth too. I was looking into the one I approached you with the batting cages, and
Mhm.
that I was able to explore kind of all of it. So I think that's the most important thing is like do your due diligence. Yeah, Morgan, seven's a lot, but if you can hammer through them and do them and get what you need out of it, somewhere in between is always a good number. But yeah, multiple is definitely really helps you understand what was the best fit for you. Might be exhausting, might be a time to take a while, but it's definitely you have to do it. It's worth it.
And like what I loved about you, Travis, and what really is ideal, and I think Morgan, she looked at 7, myself, it's really being open and curious, right? Like,
Yeah,
obviously, you came in like really excited about the batting cages. And then I'm like, hey, Travis, I think you're
yeah.
really going to like puddle pools, which is like, couldn't be more opposite, right? But you were
Hmm.
like, okay, I trust you. I'll look at it. So tell us about what is puddle pools because our listeners probably don't know. So
Hmm.
describe the brand, like, what is it that you do? And then why did you land on it?
Well, what I found so great about Puddle Pools is, we are a pool service company. And that's the franchise is. That's the nuts and bolts of it. But what drew me to Puddle was the people. And not only the people that run, Mark and that run the franchisee, but also the other owners that we had during validation calls that were, so enlightened, and they were honest and they were truthful. And I know they said some stuff in the validation call that can deter a bit, but the honesty was huge. And you know that going in and you feel that they're really trying to help you along. And there's just so much support in what Puddle Pools gives, and it's a pool service company that we have a platform that we utilize to make sure that we're keeping our customers, in line with communication, outreach, and it also helps the techs, our team, make sure they're managing their pools when they're there. And it's just an all-in-one encompassing platform that kind of helps manage and service the pools and the clients that we need. That I felt that was as great. Obviously, the logo and everything that goes about Puddle Pools was so obviously very enticing. The whole package. But again, it starts with the people at Puddle that I was able to feel so connected to. Not obviously just the way they are, but just who they are. And it starts with Mark, who's we're all a team here. Someone that I can call at any time, and he'll pick up the phone, and the support that I have is wonderful, and couldn't do it without it. And they're just helping me along the way here.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, the marketing logo for Puddle Pools is a puffer fish. Is that right?
Yeah, let me see if I can get it right here. There
Yeah.
it is.
Flip
There's the guy.
flop. It's flip flop, flip
Flip
flop,
flop.
flip
Flip
flop.
flip
Flip
flop. Yep.
flop.
Yep.
So this has become so popular that some of the other franchisees are actually tattooing this fish on their bodies because they're so excited about this flip flop fish for Puddle Pools, which I think is just a testament to how great the marketing is.
Yes, I have known no other brand, no other franchise owners to tattoo the logo on their body. And
That's
flip flop
intense. That's awesome. That's
is
awesome.
like it's a statement. It's a statement
It
for
is a
sure.
statement.
A
It,
permanent statement.
just also to wrap this around the flip flop. Flip flop was named by a 6-year-old, one of the employees, one of the very first, I think, franchise owner's daughter, who was I think 6. I think she might be older now. named it Flip Flop, and it's stuck ever since.
Oh,
So
wow. Back
So
in
cute.
2018?
I don't know, somewhere after that, I'm not sure. I just know that one of the daughters like Flip Flop. That's Flip Flop, and it's stuck. It's just now it's Flip Flop. There's Flip Flop.
It's flip-flop.
I
Well,
love
and
it.
I think in Mark's story, like when he talks about the inception of the brand, didn't he talk about like a pool guy showing up at his house with like one flip-flop on or something? He only had
Could
one
be
flip.
too, but I've actually gotten clients to where they've clicked on us, and I think that yeah, I thought it was really cute. I thought it was a really cute like thing,
So
logo. I'm
cute.
like, oh, thank you, thank you. Oh, we also do a really good job too. So,
Yeah, but that's a good brand, right? That's a good
mhm,
brand. It got someone to click.
mhm.
Telling you.
Yep,
Someone
yep.
who's a brand marketer over here. It makes me
There
so
it
hot
is.
Puddle Pools. Okay, go on, Morgan.
Yes, yeah, so this has been coming up a lot. There's that moment right before you sign. It feels like it's a big jump and a big leap if you haven't gone into business ownership or franchise ownership. What was going on through your head? Because a lot of people freeze at the end. Like it's time to sign, the money is about to transfer. It feels a little bit risky. What was going through your head in those final days and what made you sign and commit?
Yeah, I mean, when you're getting that close, you're so like a week out, right before confirmation day or decision day, and then right after, you have a mix of anxiety and excitement. And what's funny is those two emotions seem so identical, like that's what's in you right there. And that's exactly where I was. I was just so excited to get started, but I was also obviously very nervous to step out on my own. As I started at the start, there's a lot of things that I was excited to do and wanted to do and knew that that's what I wanted to do. So that's why I was able just to like, move forward. And you need to have both those feelings because that keeps you balanced into making this big decision. So you need the excitement, but you also need that anxiety that comes with the territory. But I knew that this is what I wanted to do.
That's a great answer. And I always relate it to like that first day of school feeling because we all have
Yeah.
kids where like it shouldn't feel completely comfortable, but you should be really excited about it.
Yeah.
Bit nervous and sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Great answer.
I've also learned in my last, we're going to 4 years, right? Morgan, of business
Yeah.
ownership is when I feel that anxiety about something, like when I'm really uncomfortable, that means I need to do it because it means that is going to get me to that next level of growth. Cause like if you just live in a land of comfort, like you're not probably growing. Like to grow, you need to push yourself and you need to get uncomfortable. And so I've learned to lean into that, even though it's uncomfortable. And I know that's hard, right? We don't want to be uncomfortable as humans. Like we want to be in, comfort. But, anyways, I digress always. What did people closest to you, Travis, your family, Alexis, your wife, what did they say when you told them that you were buying a franchise? And were they supportive of you or were they like, what's going on?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
No, I I I have such a supportive, family and friends for this whole process. And if it wasn't for them, then, would I have been able to forward across that finish line that Morgan asked earlier? And at these early stages, if I didn't have, them and their support, even my little kids, my 9 and 6 year old, they're very supportive and know what, pushing me along. And my son, actually, I got him a little puddle shirt, like their size, and he's wearing it all around to, I think he worked to school today or his camp. So, the support is there. They want it to. So that makes me feel, just trugging along. And the support I've had has been undeniably wonderful. So I couldn't have done it without him.
Yeah, the support system's been amazing for
Mhm.
us too, especially with my husband on board. Gosh, but took a minute for him to get on board, and then once he was, it's been great. But speaking of that support, there's always like a myth or something misconception that goes along with franchising. And I think personally for me, the misconception was I thought it'd be a lot easier to start. I think I thought I could just open up shop and everyone would just kind of like come and try my program, come and join my business, and it wasn't quite that easy. So that was my big misconception. I didn't realize how much marketing work was going to go into opening my business. But what about you? Has there been anything that you've noticed right away that was maybe something you didn't expect to be, the misconception of franchise ownership?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think people understand of how much fun it is. Like
I
it
love
is fun. It really is. I and
it?
and people might think I'm crazy and whatnot, but it's fun. Yeah. dealing, trying to figure out payroll or, figure out pricing for how to price out a job or whatnot, like, or, balancing the books. I have a bookkeeper, but, working with that, him to do that. And it can be, like gut wrenching. But for me, that, and talking to customers, like, being out there chatting with them. I went and visited a new client, about their hot tub this morning, right before here, and having the ability to just go in and I find that so fun, and meeting new people and seeing what they needed, and helping them, really, honestly. And, but then everything else, it's just, that's what I think the misconception is, how fun it really can be. I go back to the excitement. That's what I was excited for. The nervous was all the other stuff. But again, one overtakes the other, and, you just continue to do, march forward and continue to build that business. But yeah, I would say the misconception that people don't really put their finger on is how much fun it can be and will be if you just, stay the line.
Love that. You touched on something really interesting about just like connecting with people. And I think
Hmm.
we were new to our town when we started our franchise, and now we can't we can't even go into a grocery store without people being like, "That's the soccer stars couple. Like that's the couple that taught our kids or like did something."
Okay.
So somehow there's like this synergy with like that's who we are now around town is we're associated with soccer stars. So but it has been really fun and rewarding. So I'm glad you brought that up because it is
Yeah.
wonderful to make connections with people and see how happy they are. And it is fun. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep that in my back pocket for my clients that are scared to sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And I think a part of that fun is finding the right fit, right? Like
Hmm.
making sure like for Morgan and I with soccer stars, like similar to you, Travis, like I think all of us we're people. Like we love community, we love connection. Like in your role as the owner of Puddle Pools, like a big part of your job right now, it's like you're going out to the community, connecting, dealing, working with clients and all, like that's your superpower. Like you
Hmm.
are so good at that. And like
Hmm.
that's why it's fun for you because that's what you're good at. And what's going to be even more fun is as you grow and scale, the things you really don't like to do but are really important, you're going to hire a manager or hire someone to handle those things. And so
Hmm.
that's what the fun part is with business ownership, I feel like, is, unlike in a corporate job or another job that you had before, you don't get to decide. It's like, okay, here's your job. And within everyone's job, there's things you like and there's things you don't like. But when it's your business,
Yeah.
you gotta you're like, okay, at the beginning, you're doing it all, right? Because you gotta learn it all. That's
Hmm.
how you're gonna set a really solid foundation. But then as you grow, it's like, okay, I love going out and connecting and be like, that's you. That's, I love that too. So then it's like all the other things that aren't like as fun, you just delegate to someone else. And like that's the beauty of business ownership. So I just had to, I mean, that is honestly the truth. Okay, next question. So, Travis, we're like going into month 4. Give us an honest scorecard. How is Puddle Pools going for you?
We're
I mean, we
doing great. Yeah.
both good.
What? No, we're doing great. I mean, we're doing awesome. My technician, I'm keeping him busy with jobs, something every day, something going on. So we're doing great. We're just, really just getting our feet wet, pun intended. But we're just, definitely getting out there, just grinding and growing our client list. We're off to a great start.
And you have how many trucks right now? How many territories? You have one truck?
One truck or a van and a truck, one vehicle in one territory. Yes. Yep.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just curious, like, what does it take to get started? So it takes the one van, one
Mhm.
technician, and you're up and running. That's it.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it's as easy as that, but, yeah, just get the truck, get the supplies, and get the tech, and no office space, work out of my home, and, that's it. Those 2 things, honestly, to really get the business going. So, obviously, everything else, marketing, but yes, it's just a vehicle and a tech.
And
That's
that
amazing.
initial investment was what, Travis, again?
The franchise fee, was around 50,000 for one territory.
And then
Yes.
plus the van and the tech, like, so startup costs are what, would you say for?
I'd say, I mean, it depends on you, depends on what you're doing. I think what they were saying, it was about a 125 to 150, somewhere in that range.
Well, that's
Very
Yeah.
pretty good.
comfortable.
That includes the franchise fee. So you can,
Yeah.
75 to, 100 or something like that. So
And that's a
yeah.
really low cost of entry to
Right.
a
Right.
business that you can build and
Yes.
scale. And
and
Marin
scale
County,
it.
like, man, I'm just so excited because it's the best territory, I think.
Hmm.
Like, it's just
Yeah,
a good one.
it's been great so far. Yeah, it's been awesome.
And so day to day, do you pivot a lot or do you have like kind of a set schedule? Like you wake up, you go do client calls, or like what does your day to day look like right now being just so new into this?
Pivoting. I mean, I don't have a structured day. I have things I need to get done. And, starting to build that structure for me, as you start to scale, you got to make sure you're relying on that structure foundation, that you don't lose track of things. So, what I've been trying to do as I've gotten clients, it's about building that structure, that foundation of what am I supposed to be doing every single day. But, in terms of business owner, that's the other fun thing about it, and is being able your day is not the same every day. I've worked in operations for 15 years in hospitality, and your day there is never the same, and that's why I jumped in. I'm not new to. So, but as a business owner, yeah, it's part of, you have to be running shoes because you're not literally running, but athletic shoes. You're going to be, because you're on your
Not
feet, you're moving
flip-flops?
around.
No flip-flops. Don't wear flip-flops? Is that what you're saying?
No flip. Well, you can wear yeah, no flip flops. You can wear Crocs in sport mode, I guess. That's what the kids are saying. But
Kids.
yeah, no, it's being flexible, and if you get a new lead in, you're going to call them, and then you may go out and see their site later that day, or in the morning. Like that's it's just being ready, on your toes, getting ready for a client to call or text message about something. And it's just being on your toes, ready to that your day is not the same. I'm trying to create those little foundational things each day so that when things do start to scale and get bigger, I have that to rely on and make sure that what I need to get done is done. So
Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge you've had so far?
biggest challenge. I think just getting used to, for me, just getting used to being like, this is my business, and just like conceptualizing that, because this is my first one, and just understanding that that's it. That would say like the biggest challenge to me, just conceptualizing what I'm doing, and that I'm like the business owner. So, which is really fun and exciting.
It's like building that confidence, like, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
'cause
That.
it's new. It's like, I felt that with Soccer Stars more than you too. It's like, we're new. Like, I was never ran a company and I never coached soccer. Like, I played soccer as a kid and in high school, but like, yeah, it's getting that confidence up. So when you're talking to customers and partners and, it's like, okay, like,
Yeah.
this is my part of my identity now.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And so can you talk to us a little bit about like the support side of the franchisors? And we've talked a lot about like what's been good about the franchise for you, but what does that look like as like Puddle Pools as a partner? And have they showed up the way that you were hoping? Can you get a hold of them? What does that look
Yeah, I might have spilled the beans in the beginning of this podcast, but yeah, I mean, they've been there every step of the way. When I need help, they're calling me. They have a big coaches retreat, and I asked Mark if he had some time today to meet about something. And he's in meetings probably from 8 to 5, but he told me, just text me this morning and I'll jump out and talk. And that is the epitome of they're there for me. I have a calendary links to about 3 or 4 different, support coaches that I can jump on. And their biggest theme is that, I have a franchise coach. His name is also Travis. He goes by TJ, but yeah, which is, I think, either just ironic, but happened that way. But, their biggest support is, I'm your franchise coach, but you can go reach out to anybody on the team, anyone you want. And if you need help, please do. And that helps the confidence, like you talk about, Catherine, that, I can go in and do anything because I got a whole support system behind me that can help me with anything that comes up. Because not everyone knows everything, but we all can kind of work together. Even other franchise owners, ones that just started, ones that have been doing this for a couple years now, are there to support on a, we have a big what's up chat that we can jump into and ask any questions we want. And it's also great reference to read through them too and see what other people are going through. And, for you just to gain that knowledge to when maybe that does come up or whatnot. So it's just, I can pick from anywhere and I have the support I need in any situation that comes up. So it makes you, builds that confidence even further. And the sky's the limit, honestly, with that support system. So it's been great.
And speaking of like franchisee support, because I feel like that's been great with Soccer Stars. There's been all these different ideas coming in, or one franchisee did something over here that worked, and now we can try and implement that. Do you find, I mean, with Soccer Stars, like a lot of it is maybe parks are like park heavy or school heavy or contract heavy. Like there's different ways we can pivot to make money with our franchise. But I feel like with Puddle Pools, it would really be more like residential or commercial, or maybe it's like seasonal depending on where you live. Have you had franchisees that have had to pivot and try and make money and get more creative than you have so far?
I think for pools in general, it depends on where you are, where you live, what the need is, and commercial, residential. Pivoting is always something to help out to build your business. But from what I've seen is it's just, I guess, pivoting a different way of outreach to clients. It's always been a thing. Well, how do you get your name out? Well, it's these different things with different commercial accounts or getting to realtors, or just simply like marketing by leaving door hangers, or even on the Google side, like Google Business. But then is it we working with Meta or Nextdoor, like different avenues to get our name out there and recognize what's going on. It's great monthly calls with Mark and actually other franchise owners, and we just talk about goals, challenges, and what we're looking forward to. And there we can talk about all kinds of different things and get all types of different ideas from all necks of the country. I was on the call with someone from British Columbia, Canada, and Atlanta yesterday, and then myself and Mark. So you're getting all these different ideas about how we can build the business, or just different strats. So I think we're always trying as a group, trying to figure out different ways to build. And as more and more people become franchise owners, it's that those ideas are going to continue to spread and get bigger and bigger. And it's, it may not always fit in your territory or your region, but it may somewhere else, and vice versa. But it's always cool to hear about it and try it. If it doesn't work, then,
Yeah,
but
and
yeah, there's,
I think that's something people don't know about franchise ownership is you do have not only the corporate support, but like the franchisee support across the board,
Yeah.
Mhm.
where it's helping everybody. We're all
Yep.
sharing ideas. We all want to grow, because if we all grow together, then the franchise is even, better for it.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
do think people don't know about that or don't think about it so much. And it has been hugely helpful for me in my territory, just hearing all these different ideas and being able to implement them and see what works and what doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Jumping a little ahead, where do you see Marin County, your Puddle Pools a year from now? Like, what's your goal?
Just continue to expand into the North Bay, into obviously continue to build Marin County and Sonoma County. But yeah, just continue to build and get the name of Puddle Pools in this region, and just continue to grow. And, I'd love to have, a couple more techs, a couple more trucks. But yeah, just getting the brand awareness out there even more, and, excited to see more of the trucks running around up and down there in the North Bay. That's what the goal is. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exciting, like the visibility of it. Like my
Hmm.
husband is a FedEx pilot, so even though he doesn't drive the
Oh, that's
truck,
awesome.
when they drive around town, our kids will like yell out the window and be like, "Oh, Dad's company," Like, well,
Yeah, exactly.
but in your case, it's like, yes, that would be you with the
Yep.
vans driving around town. The kids can be like, "That's my dad." That's such a
Hmm.
neat experience for them to see it firsthand, like something tangible, not just something talked about.
I'm
So
not
I
gonna
guess,
lie, like, when I am out and about on the weekends seeing, like, these little kids running around with their
yeah,
jerseys, like, when we go to lunch, like, I get so proud. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
because I think life is so busy, business is so busy, and you're so hyper focused on, like, all the things with the business. I have to kinda, like, make myself pause sometimes and
Hmm.
just be like, "Wait a sec, the impact we're making." I mean, with, like, for soccer, for me, like, all these little kids, and, like, today I got this message, like, from a mom, and she's like, "Oh, my daughter won't be in camp tomorrow. Today's her last day. We're going on a trip, but please, like, let Coach Bed and Coach Rashab know, like, she loved it, the camp. Like, she will be back. She had the best experience." And, like, that just warmed my heart. And I have my daughter here today, Samantha, you both know, like, she was crying so hard she didn't want to go to camp. So she's home with me today. It's amazing when and you're going to start getting that, Travis, like the
yeah.
reviews and the feedback about
Hmm.
how much, what a great job you're doing. At the end of the day, it's like your business. And like, how amazing is it, like, that you're out there and seeing
It's a local guy. It's not Puddle Pools is not here, and I wish it works. I'd switch very quickly. But the only reason I love this company so much is because the tech guy. He comes and throws the ball for the dog. He's super
it's
personable.
those
I mean,
Yeah.
things. It's
he's
those
Yeah.
incredible. Like just that connection with my kids, with my family, my dogs, like feel comfortable with him. He's cleaning the dog hair out of the pool filter for extra money, which
Well,
I'm happy to pay because I can't keep the dog out of the pool and it's so hot right now. So pool is life. But it's like, Puddle Pools is kind of like that and it's going to keep growing. And so there is going to be that connection where that pool tech's going to start feeling that too. And then they're going to be
mhm.
more invested in your company because they've done such a great job that now we're invested with them in the company. And so it's been a wonderful experience for us. And we typically hire and fire pool companies really fast. And we've been with this particular tech, not necessarily the company itself, but this technician that we love. We aren't changing because we just think he's fabulous and we adore him.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear, and that's what my hopes and dreams are for my technician, and that's what I look out for. Someone who's personable, obviously that knows what they're doing, but is personable and can communicate, and that's exactly what Puddle is that we are here to make sure the communication is in line with the clients and making sure that we can help at any time and just make sure that their pool is or hot tub is being taken care of. And it's great that you're playing fetch with the dog. And my technician loves dogs. I mean, we'll go together and see a pool, and the the person will say, "Oh, watch out for my dog," and my technician will right away go, "Ah, don't worry, I love dogs." And it's just that personal connection that you want to have with the clients because honestly, we want to help them out, and we want to make sure they're getting what they want because the last thing I want to think about is when it's a hot day and they walk out and their pool is looks gross. They just want to jump in and not worry about it. And that's part of the reason why we're there to make sure that things are, being taken care of, but also, yeah, the communication and that they just feel they're taking care of their baby out in their pool out there. But that's great to hear. And that's what we strive to do.
Okay, last questions. Let's close it up. So thank you so much for being here and kind of telling us how it's been going and being so candid with us. And if anyone's interested in learning more about Puddle Pools or franchise ownership, the way Travis did, with guidance and without any huge pressure from Catherine or myself, you know where to find us at thefranchiseinsiders.com. You can click on Catherine or myself. We'd be happy to guide you through the same way that Catherine guided Travis into finding his franchise fit.
Thanks for coming on, Travis. This has been fun. We're having you on next year. We're going to hear how it's going. All right.
Absolutely. No, thank you too for having me. And Kath, I've said this to you before. Thank you for guiding me in this direction. And I'm glad we talked that one day, and guided me through this whole process. And, also too, Catherine, you obviously helped me through that process as I was exploring Puddle, we were connecting and making sure that it was a great option for me. And so it wasn't just here it is, bye. You guided me through the entire process all the way up until I think we talked right before confirmation day. So
Well,
yeah, and so I can't thank you enough for what you did. I'll continue to say it as Puddle continues to grow, and I will continue to give you, credit for that. My family thanks you, and it's great. So thank you.
oh, thank you. And I mean, that's just what Morgan and I are here for. And I think because we own our own franchises and we know how much freedom, flexibility, joy, like it's brought us so much. And so that's just like what I hope for my friends. And
Hmm.
obviously, you're a very dear friend. So I'm just really
Yeah,
proud of you for making the jump. I know
thank you.
it's not easy. And, starting a business isn't for the faint of heart, but it's so rewarding and so fun, like you said.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you,
All right.
Travis.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
For those of you listening, if you have any questions or are interested in franchising, please go to thefranchiseinsiders.com. You can find more information about Morgan and my son. We'll see everyone next week.
Thank you.
Bye.